What is up, guys? In today's video, I'm going to be going over several quick tips that you're going to want to know in Fortnite's new Winterfest update. As always, if you guys do find this video to be helpful, informative, interesting, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like to see more, and comment down below what your favorite item that was added with this year's Winterfest. So the first thing we're going to talk about is going to be the most obvious to many of you, and that it's going to be that you can actually get a present from Mariah Carey if you emote with her. She's at the place where the ice block was. I'll have it on the map right now. But if you emote with her for long enough, she'll actually throw you a present down. You could pick it up, throw it yourself, and then get loot out of it. These presents typically have high rarity weapons, like I think blue or purple. Sometimes they don't have a gun though, and then a lot of times they come with the Winterfest items. So things like the Icy Feet, the Blizzard Bomb, the Peppermints. I've gotten a full stack of 6 shockwaves out of these presents. They're not bad by any means, but they're not like incredibly high priority. Like if I have decent loot already, I'm not the most concerned about going for this, but if I'm in the area and there's something I want, or if I really like those Winterfest items, that's when this is going to be best. If you love the Icy Feet, this is probably going to be something that you're going to want to get because it is almost pretty much guaranteed Icy Feet, it seemed from my experience. Speaking of the Icy Feet item, this is an item you can have in your inventory and then activate or deactivate as you want. And it gives you the Icy Feet effect. So you guys know when we had like the frozen lakes in the game or the Ice Spice grappler from Remix, you would have the Icy Feet and slide around. This is an item that allows you to use it at will. It doesn't negate fall damage. That is something that I think would have been interesting with it, but you're still susceptible to taking fall damage with this. It does allow you to walk on water, which could be pretty helpful, especially in certain zones. It's not really something I would want to carry just to walk on water, you know, but if I had a zone that was ending around water and I eliminated somebody that had these or found these on the ground, I would maybe be more inclined to take it. You can use it to kind of improve the sword's mobility because the sword, you know, gives you faster sprinting, gives you better stamina. You can jump around and slide with it. And the Icy Feet allow you to slide better and further. So like combining the slide of the Icy Feet with like the sprint of the katana and kind of chaining that long term can be pretty decent mobility. Or if you like do the katana jump off like a high surface and then land in a slide, like you can go decently far. And it also can be somewhat helpful for fighting sword users, I think, because a lot of times the problem with once you get hit by the sword, your character is kind of stuck and you can't move that well. But if you have the Icy Feet on, you're kind of sliding around, maybe that results in you getting out of the sword user's kind of range, sliding away, and then they start missing, they're hitting air, and they're much easier to eliminate if they're kind of stuck hitting nothing, you know. That is something that I could be seeing somewhat beneficial out of these Icy Feet. And then I've also seen people say it can be good if you want to use the sword in melee because then you can just get on people and slide around and be annoying. I could see it going both ways for sure, but this isn't an item that I really care for too much. We'll kind of get to that a bit in a moment. Another Winterfest item that was added is going to be the Blizzard Bomb. You throw this down and then it basically creates like a little shield bubble in a way, but it doesn't block anything. It's just the size of a shield bubble. And then anything inside takes damage and moves slower. So it's like a little AoE attack item, I guess. I don't really think this is that good. There's times where it could be helpful when like maybe somebody's in a bush or camping behind a cover in a house and you want to like force them out, then this could maybe be somewhat helpful. But the amount of damage the person takes is like 7. So it's like really not that much damage. They would have to be really weak or just not react at all to actually be eliminated by this. It's more to like force your opponent to make a mistake maybe, or force them to do something that they don't want to do. With how much mobility is in the game, I feel like it is decently easy for an opponent to recover from this. But either way, it definitely could have its like niche uses. I think in build mode, it'll probably be much better because it can hit through walls. The biggest problem with both the Icy Feet and the Blizzard Bomb, in my opinion, is just like opportunity cost, because they are decent items and they have their like niche uses where they could be good, but it's not necessarily that the item is bad, but I don't want to carry it because I would rather carry other stuff. When we look at the Icy Feet, like sure, the katana and ice combo is a decent aspect of mobility. You can travel around decently quick with that, but there's no world in which I would rather have that than a Void Mask and Shockwaves. Like both the Void Mask and Shockwaves I can use to travel around the map faster. I can use to push people and feel more safe doing so. I can use it to get away from fights. I can use it to break through walls. In the case of Shockwaves, you can shockwave people out of cover behind bushes, which is something that the Blizzard Bomb does as well. So like that's my main kind of knock against the Icy Feet and the Blizzard Bomb. I feel like the Blizzard Bomb doesn't really have that many people gassing it, but I've seen a lot of people hyping up the Icy Feet and saying that it's such good mobility and that it's fine, you know? And the fact that you can disable it when you want is definitely a positive, but I just don't think it stacks up well against the other mobility items at all. It's more of like if I don't have the things I actually want to have, then maybe I would use this. I also think that the person running around with Katana and Ice is very susceptible to just getting fried by the Hollow Twister AR. And with how good that item is and how prevalent that item is, I don't want a mobility item that's just easily countered by that, you know? But that's my opinion on the Winterfest items. There was several NPCs added in this update that are very good. Snoop Dogg at Crackshot's cabin near Mariah sells a purple Sentinel Pump shotgun. I really like getting that. It's my favorite shotgun. And he's somewhat central on the map, like not dead center, but it's convenient to go to him most games, so I really appreciate that. Sergeant Winter at the Crashed Plane sells a purple Hollow Twister AR. And then the Shack NPC at Masked Meadows actually sells shockwaves. For me, it's bugged. I don't know if it's like this for everybody, but it's just a giant default instead of Shack, which is kind of funny, but they sell shockwaves, and I think this is incredible because this makes Masked Meadows just the best POI in my opinion. It has a guaranteed void mask. It has an NPC that sells shockwaves. It has, you know, a decent amount of loot as well. There's a katana stand here. There's several of the elemental chests. Masked Meadows was already my favorite POI, but adding an NPC that just sells shockwaves here for 100 gold per 2, I think is very convenient and just is a huge buff to the POI. Another thing that got buffed somewhat recently is going to be Earth Sprites. These are these weird looking creatures that you can give loot to, and then they'll give you a gold item in return or a gold weapon in return. So I've seen a lot of misconception with these Earth Sprites saying they give you a gold item of what you give them. That is not the case. You could give it an AR and get a shotgun back. You can give it a shotgun and get an AR back. You can give it an SMG and get an AR back. It's not like there's any sort of pattern there. It's just a random gold weapon. The only consistent reaction I've seen is if you give it minis, it gives you like shieldfish and floppers, which is great. If you already have good weapons and you want the heals, that's amazing. But just be careful if you're like decently late into the game and you give it like a blue shotgun hoping to get a gold, you may end up with no shotgun at all, which is not ideal. Another thing that recently has been getting a lot of attention, and this was actually before Winterfest, is that the Halsey NPC at Canyon Crossing actually will drop a gray Thunderburst SMG from Chapter 5 when you eliminate her. I've seen people saying this was added in Winterfest. It's not the case. So it was here for like a week or so before. But anyways, like I've also seen people wondering, like, did they unvault the Thunderburst for Winterfest? I just saw it. That's not the case. It's from this NPC. That's the only way to get it. You can't get attachments on it. And as I just said with the Earth Sprite, it doesn't give you the exact weapon you give it. So it's not like you could bring this to an Earth Sprite and upgrade it. Oh, I forgot to talk about what got changed with the Earth Sprite sometime. But recently, they increased the amount of Earth Sprites per match to 5. So initially when the season started, I think there was 2 or 3 per game. Now there's 5 Earth Sprites per game. And the way these work is that they have set spawn locations. I'll have them on screen now. But they're not here every game. It's just 5 random ones spawn every game. So I think these are decently helpful. I'm not going to go super far out of my way searching for them, but I think it is somewhat helpful to know the potential Earth Sprite spawns around the POIs you like landing at, and then maybe, you know, playing around it from there. If you see it, cool. If not, that's fine too. But that was what recently changed with Earth Sprites, is they increased the amount per match. Like I said, the Halsey NPC can drop the Thunderburst when you eliminate her. I forgot the name of the NPC, but the Grenade NPC used to drop blue dual pistols. That has been patched, the dual machine pistols. They patched that, but for some reason the Halsey NPC still drops the Thunderburst. Another thing that was added with Winterfest is there's these Christmas trees around the map which have chests on them. It's not like an insane change, but if more loot at a place you enjoy landing at is good. So if you see these Christmas trees, there's probably chests underneath them, and that, you know, could give you loot that you need. Chili, Chug Splashes, and Peppers were added into the loot pool for this update. Both of these items give you 20% faster movement speed. The Chili Chug Splashes give you this for 1 minute, and the Peppermint gives you it for 45 seconds, I believe. Even if you don't want to carry these items, like I'm never really going to carry the Peppermints in my inventory, but if I find them, I'll just go ahead and eat it. Like you can get them out of chests, you know? I'll just go ahead and eat it and then get faster movement speed for, you know, 45 seconds. That's great, especially off spawn, helping you loot a little bit faster. Can be pretty helpful and definitely improve your game. And then same with the Chili Chug Splashes. These are one of the best healing items ever in Fortnite. They're just Chug Splashes that also give you faster movement speed. but the spawn rate of them is very low. So finding enough to generate like a full stack of these to make me want to carry it as my healing item is just incredibly unlikely. So most of the time I get them, I just use one and then get the faster movement speed. If you use multiple at a time, it's not like this benefit stacks. I think it just resets the timer. So if you use one and then like 5 seconds go by, use another, you'll just have another minute. So it's not like you get ridiculous stacked, but either way, I mostly just use these items when I find them just for the better movement speed. With the snow being added to the map, I think the invisibility medallion that you can get from the island that spawns in 4th zone is a lot better. I feel like it's much harder to see that invisible player on the snow map because the kind of bluish white tint that you'll get of the invisible player is just blends in better with the snow map. And then another thing you can do if you want to be incredibly extra is using the all white superhero skin on the snow map is probably more ideal than using like the all gray, the all black, or the all green. Just because there's a bunch of snow on the map. A majority of the map is snow. So if you wanted to blend in and, like I said, just be very extra, the all white superhero skin is probably the way to go. With the void mask, you can now swap it off in enemies and it will be full. So if I have like 9 charges in my void mask, I eliminate somebody and then pick up their mask, it'll be 15 uses. This is now fixed. How it was at the start of the season was if you just swapped them, the charges wouldn't reset, but if you dropped yours and then picked up the enemies, you would have a full one. But now you don't have to worry about going into your inventory and dropping it. It should just give you the full uses if you swap your void mask with another one off an enemy you eliminated. If you didn't eliminate them, I'm not sure if it does drop full. I believe it does. But, you know, this is just something to keep in mind. You don't have to go into your inventory and drop them anymore. I've also been told there's a bug with the void mask where sometimes you can take fall damage when using it if you jump like as or before you're using it. I have not encountered this personally, but it's something to be aware of. It's just one of those bugs that's like not 100% of the time, but it's like if you are jumping as you use it, there's a small chance you might take fall damage. And if you're going very high with the mask, you might just, you know, eliminate yourself that way. So be careful when using the mask. Don't jump. A lot of times I will shockwave and then throw my void portal while I'm in the air shockwaving just to be more precise with where I land, get there faster, or just disappear. If you're, you know, shockwaving and someone's ARing you and then you just disappear from thin air because you teleported, that can confuse a lot of people. Or if you're, you know, pushing somebody and then you just teleport behind them as you're shockwaving at them, I think that's also just very confusing and very chaotic. And while shockwaving with the mask and doing that, since I do it a decent amount, I have never gotten fall damage when doing that. I don't know if this is just because I've been lucky enough to not get that bug, you know, or if the fall damage immunity that shockwaves gives you also kind of protects you from this. So either way, I would just recommend not jumping when using the void mask. But if you're trying to combine it with shockwaves, I think you're mostly good because the shockwaves themselves negate fall damage as well. But that is going to be it for this video. I hope you guys found this to be, you know, helpful, informative, interesting. As always, if you did, remember to give it a like, subscribe if you like some more, comment down below what you think of the Winterfest items. Of this update, I think the Shaq NPC at Masked Meadows and the Snoop Dogg NPC selling the purple pump are my favorite parts, but let me know what you like down in the comments below, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Thanks for watching.